Yeah? Happy Valentine's Day.
Cute.
This little thing for you.
Wow.
And one more little thing. Happy.
Yeah, too. So, I think you should cancel our reservations tonight.
You do?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be fun to stay at home in our hot kitchen instead?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why don't you go change into something comfy?
Okay.
Kitchen.
Hi there. Welcome to Hot Kitchen's Valentine's Special. So nobody wants to be overstuffed on a romantic evening like Valentine's, so I'm going to show you how to make a yummy little coursed out meal that will stun and amaze your sweetie. I'm going to make little mini pizzas and seared scallops and finish it off with some yummy little chocolate tarts. But first, we're going to kick it off with an energy-giving cocktail. So I'm going to be showing you how to make a delicious flaming coffee. Now with this recipe, you can use brewed coffee or French press coffee. I prefer French press coffee, so that is what I will be showing you how to make. I'm going to start with my French press that has been sitting with hot water in it for a few moments. I'm going to dump out that water. Then I'm going to grab my hot water, get it ready over here. To my French press, I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of coarsely ground coffee. I'm drinking a Mexican Chiapas coffee. It's yummy. Add to that your hot water, stirring as you pour so that each of the grounds gets moistened. And then let that steep for 4 minutes. And now you want to get your cups ready. So you want to start with a nice thick tempered glass mug of some sort, something that can stand up to the heat of a little fire. And then you want to sugar the rims. Use a nice damp cloth to get them wet. Dunk them in a little bit of sugar. Then I'm going to add about a ½ ounce of 151 rum to each cup. .150 rum lights on fire really easily. I'm also going to use it right here as a little fire pot. Now I'm going to light it on fire. Hey honey, can you turn out the lights so we can see this?
You bet.
Flame on. And then cook the sugars over the fire so that they caramelize to the rim of the glass. And then carefully tilt the glass until the 151 inside the glass comes into contact with the flame and lights on fire. Repeat with the other one. So this process is not only fun to do and fun to watch, but it warms up the glass so that your coffee tastes really good. Beautiful. Add to that a little bit of cinnamon. Woo! The flame on. And just a pinch of cayenne pepper in each one for a little fire. Delicious. To that, go ahead and add about an ounce of chocolate liqueur to each glass. Good chance it'll stay lit for a little bit longer. And then add your coffee. Oops. Keep the coffee in the cup. Leave a little bit of room for whipped cream. Keep the whipped cream in the fridge until you are ready to use it. And then go ahead and scoop a little bit on top. Now this whipped cream has been beaten with a little bit of the chocolate liqueur in it, so it's extra special yummy. And see how I've just beaten it to a soft consistency? It's not real stiff, just kind of floats there and looks yummy. That's perfect. Here you go, honey. So now this is not supposed to be a meal that you make all in one shot. It's supposed to be a relaxed, coursed out dinner. So now that you have a little cocktail, go enjoy it with your sweetie and come back in a little bit, make the rest. So I bet you're feeling nice and relaxed and all happy now. You just had a little cocktail with your sweetie. So now I'm gonna make a little bit of dessert. And I'm gonna do it ahead of time so that we can enjoy it whenever we're ready for it. So I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of butter and a ½ cup of flour, a ½ cup of ground oats, and a ½ cup of brown sugar, lightly packed so that it just breaks apart real easily when I pour it in there. And this is gonna form the crust of some delicious chocolate tartlets. These are the sorts of things that you and your sweetie can feed each other because they're gonna be a little handheld yummy thing. I'm gonna blend up the butter, the flour, and the oats and the brown sugar until I've achieved a nice crumbly texture. And actually, once I've gotten the butter sort of mixed in there, I'm gonna resort to my fingers for the rest of the process. Just faster and easier that way. All right, now I've got this all mixed in together and I'm getting little clumps. All the ingredients are evenly mixed. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put these in a little muffin pan here. Put a little bit in each one. And then I'm just gonna go back through and press them into shape. Steal a little from that one to add to this one. Alrighty, and just brush the little extras that have found their way onto the top of the muffin pan into the little wells. And then this is ready to go in the oven. Those will need to bake for about 10 minutes. And in the meantime, you can get working on the delicious chocolate filling. So the first thing I'm going to do is add about 2 cups of milk to a saucepan. And I'm going to very slowly bring it up to temperature. Do a nice medium-low heat here. To that, I'm going to add about a ½ cup of sugar. And I'm going to whisk that together so that the sugar doesn't scorch on the bottom of the pan as the milk heats. All right, great. Now I'm going to get started on the eggs. So I'm going to be using 4 eggs. I'm going to separate them for 2 different purposes. The egg yolk will be added to the cream that will fill the little tartlets, and the egg white will be used for a meringue topping. So go ahead and separate out the egg yolk and the egg white. Beautiful. It's okay if a little bit of white gets into the yolk, but not okay if a little yolk gets into the white. So crack your eggs carefully. Beautiful. To the egg yolks, go ahead and add a ¼ cup of cornstarch and 3 tablespoons of that delicious chocolate liqueur that you used in the cocktail, and whisk that all together. Blend it all together. You want to make sure that there is no lumps of cornstarch in this mixture. Okay, just leave that be for a few moments. It'll wait patiently until your milk is ready to be tempered into it. Right on, my milk is nice and steamy and it's just about ready to come up to a boil. That's exactly the temperature I want. I'm gonna go ahead and add a ½ cup of broken up chocolate to it. And I'm gonna stir it until that chocolate is all smooth and melted. I'm actually gonna take it off the heat while I do that. Great, so now that the chocolate has completely dissolved, I'm gonna put this back on the heat for a moment, clear off a little space, because I'm gonna need it for those yummy little crusts. Those should be all done by now. Well, don't those look cute? And while those cool, you can get the pastry cream or the chocolate filling all finished off. So the way that you want to do that is to very slowly drizzle a little bit of this chocolate milk mixture into the eggs. You're tempering the chocolate into the eggs, and you want to do this very slowly so that the eggs don't coagulate on you and become curdled. The end result you want is a very smooth, creamy texture. You want to make sure that each time you add more of the chocolate milk mixture into the eggs, that you completely mix it before adding any more. Very delicate process here. Got over half of the mixture in here at this point, and I'm going to keep going until when I touch the side of the bowl it's kind of hot from the milk, or until I have tempered all of the milk into the egg mixture, whichever comes first. That's good. Now I'm going to add the egg yolk mixture with the chocolate in it back into the saucepan here. And I'm going to watch over it very carefully as it comes up to temperature. And I'm going to stir it pretty much constantly until it reaches a boil. So this process here of bringing it up to a boil very slowly will set the cornstarch and make it so that your filling is nice and thick. And it'll also cook the eggs, which will coagulate and add further thickness and richness to the delicious chocolate custard that you're making. Lovely, you can see how thick that is. You may not see it boil because you're stirring it, but that's fine. Once you see it thick enough, you know that you are good to take it off the heat. I'm going to go ahead and whisk it for a few moments just to make sure that there's no lumps in there. This is a great time to whisk in about a tablespoon of butter. This adds a little bit of saltiness and shininess and kind of helps to round out the flavors. It's nice and hot, so it melts really quickly. And now you get to spoon this into your delicious little crusts. Yummy. And then go ahead and top off any that look lean. And once you've got them all to a nice even level, go ahead and put them in the fridge so they can cool down. And now it's time to make the meringue topping. So I'm going to grab my whisk and my finest little beaters. And those 4 egg whites. Also a 1/4 cup of white sugar. A little pinch of cream of tartar, about a 1/4 teaspoon's worth. And a little dash of almond extract. Whisk it all together. Whisk this until you have formed nice stiff peaks. Just like that. That is perfect. Now this is the meringue topping. So go ahead and load it into a little pastry bag, and once the little tartlets have cooled down, you'll be ready to pipe this on top. The meringue is going to make an excellent contrast because it's a light, airy texture versus the rich, creamy density of the chocolate filling. I'm just going to put this in with its little friend in the fridge, and we'll come back to it in a couple minutes. Well now, I believe our desserts have had enough time to chill, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them out of the fridge and finish them off. Love this part. Anytime that I have an excuse to break out a pastry bag and a tip is a good day for me. Don't need all that. So all you're going to do is just squeeze a little bit of this yummy meringue right onto the top of the chocolate. A little dot for each one of these yummy little tartlets. It's like a little mini chocolate cream pie. All right, and with meringue on each one of these, you can go ahead and put these in the oven. Make sure it's nice and warm, 375 degrees or higher. And let them bake for 3 to 6 minutes. It's just going to depend on your oven. So I think that the meringues have baked. Oh yes. Got a nice little light brownness to them. They're nice and firm to the touch. So the next thing that you want to do is just take these little tartlets and put them in the fridge to cool down all the way. And they'll be ready when you and your sweetie are ready for them. All right, the dessert's done. Hopefully you took a little bit of time to relax and enjoy the evening with your sweetie. I did. Now I'm moving on to making little appetizers. So I have 6 little pre-made pizza crusts here, and I'm going to place them on a hot baking stone that I've pre-warmed in the oven for quite a while, so it's very hot. And on top of each little crust, I'm going to spread a little soft spreadable cheese. Ricotta cheese works well for this. Boursin cheese or a nice soft goat cheese will also work well for this. Fabulous. I'm using my fingers to sort of spread the cheese out a little bit more. Now I'm going to layer on a little bit of spinach. A couple little leaves for each one. You don't want to go overboard on it. And then some mushrooms. Some nice thinly sliced little mushrooms. A few pieces for each pizza. Get back on there, you. And top it off with some artichoke hearts. And I'm using the little marinated artichoke hearts that you buy in a can. And then a little bit of pepper flake for color and flavor. And these are ready to go in the oven for a few minutes until the mushrooms have softened and the cheese is melted a little bit. It's probably going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. So as these little guys finish up, you might want to brush them with a little bit of olive oil just to help the process along a little bit. Plus it makes them yummier. Alrighty, just a couple more minutes. Let that olive oil bake in, and you're done. Oh my, my, my. Don't these look pretty? I'm gonna put these on little plates so they're ready to be eaten.
Yummy. Very hot. That is so good.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Let's go.
Okay.
Kitchen.
So now that you've had a little break and a little bit of food, let's go ahead and get the main course started. Now this particular entree is going to have a delicious little sauce to go over it. It's going to be a yummy almond sauce. And in order for that to happen, you're going to need to saute together some parsnip, some onion, and almonds. You can always substitute a mini carrot for the little tablespoon of parsnip that I suggest. Just give it a little flash here in some butter, about a tablespoon's worth. Add a little salt and pepper at this time as well. A little salt, a little pepper. And then go ahead and add about 1.5 cups of water. And let that all boil together until the almonds are pretty soft. It's probably going to take about 10 minutes for those almonds to soften up the way you want them to. So about 10 minutes has passed and I can see that this mixture has softened up. The almonds are soft, the parsnips and the onions have all but been obliterated into the water. So now I'm going to take this over to my little blender here and we're going to have a little fun with the pureeing of the sauce. Pour it all into the blender at once. Make sure you get all those almonds in there. Very important to the flavor. And add to that about 1 ounce of grenadine. And keep some milk handy so that you can adjust the consistency as you puree it. Make sure you cover the lid with a towel, hold it on there firmly, and begin by pulsing. And once you've got it mixed up a little bit, go ahead and turn it on. That is exquisite. And this time I didn't need to thin it down with anything, so it's perfect. Go ahead and take it out of the blender, pour it back into your pan, put a lid on it, set it off to the side. And now it's time for the final course in your delicious Valentine's Day feast. So I'm gonna get the asparagus steaming here. A nice little steamer basket in there. I'm going to sprinkle it with some garlic salt for extra yumminess. Put the lid on it and let it finish. In the meantime, I'm going to pop over here and finish wrapping my scallops. So I have a little prosciutto here, and I sliced it in half lengthwise so that it fits on the scallops better. I'm just going to roll them up in there, stab a couple toothpicks through it to hold it on there. And 1 to go. You want to be careful with the prosciutto, as you can see that it tears pretty easily. I'm using prosciutto for this purpose because the scallops aren't really going to need to cook long enough. The bacon would actually cook on there. The prosciutto is perfect because it's cured and cooked already. To a medium hot saute pan, add a couple tablespoons of butter. Give it a moment to let it melt. It's quite all right if it browns. That's just going to help the scallops to develop a beautiful brown color. Once the butter is melted, go ahead and gently set the scallops in it. Hear a nice sizzle when you set them in there. Wow, that smells good. These seared for a couple minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and start flipping them, handling them very carefully. Oh my, my. Those look great. Flip these over and check the other side. They feel pretty firm to me, not rubbery. So that means that they're done. I'm going to take them off the heat and set them over here next to the plates. So pink and pretty. It says love. And you are good to go.
That's delicious.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Kitchen.
Pet the kitties.